Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Hope you are doing great. So I came across a video where they were talking about how Pam Bondi removed some document that she was caught by a judge removing documents from the courtroom. And the truth is that the media are not even talking about it. That is another one. I was able to pull some information, like, some, but not a lot. Why? And why I was asking, why is it that this is not everywhere? Because people really people need to know, right? Why the documents were removed from the courtroom, because it's a whole lot of offense, right? Only to find out that the media is censoring it. And I am asking, why would media censor all this? Because at this point in time, we need to know the people that are going to jail and people that are left behind. Why would she tamper? Why would she tamper with a document? The truth is that you and I know that this is really going to be a very long ride. So far, it's actually been long, very long, right? And we need to know the people to trust around some people and people who don't need to trust. Some people will be like, why are you people so much interested in that? We need to know, because you and I need to protect the children, because a lot has been going on. This administration, they've been lying and telling us that they are the most transparent administration so far. But you know what? Let's get into this video.
Guys! This popcorn. This popcorn. It's time. News flash. Donald Trump's AG, Pam Bondi, was caught by the judge removing documents from the courtroom, removing evidence. The judge caught him. This on camera and everything, not gathering her personal belongings. She was gathering documents after the judge made a ruling. She got caught. Guess what the judge did? Y'all ready? Judge issued a warrant for her arrest. Yes, sir. Guys, Pam Bondi, AG, top attorney, the Attorney General of the United States, a judge has issued a warrant for her arrest for tampering with evidence. And he didn't just say arrest. Let's talk on good too. He didn't just say arrest. He said immediate, as in like right now. Arrest her ass. Yep. She going to jail. She going to jail. Pam Bondi. Judge issued a warrant for her arrest. Immediate arrest before she destroys more documents or flees. Quote from the judge. It's starting. First MAGA Civil War. Yeah. Know y'all heard about that, right? Now this. Y'all got y'all popcorn? I got mine. Butter flavor. This is juicy. Get your popcorn. Grab your bottle of wine. I'll check in with you later. With more details. It's on and crack-a-lacking, guys. It's on and crack-a-lacking. I gotta run. But before I go, one little question. Pam? Pammy? Is Greg in yet?
Okay, so this is absolutely explosive. Pam Bondi, Trump's Attorney General, was just caught red-handed removing documents from a courthouse, right after a federal judge issued a bombshell order demanding full DOJ compliance and document production. Witnesses saw it happen. Video evidence captured it. Bondi scrambling to remove evidence just as the judge was signaling a major shift in the case, and now the judge is ordering her immediate arrest. This isn't a threat. This isn't a warning. This is a judge saying, Arrest this woman now. She's destroying evidence. She's obstructing justice, and she needs to be taken into custody immediately before she destroys more evidence or flees. This is the Attorney General of the United States facing arrest for evidence tampering. That's unprecedented. That's a constitutional crisis. That's the nation's top law enforcement official being caught committing crimes. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you click the link in the description to join, and if you just want to support what we're doing, join us. Be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. Circumstances make this even worse. The judge had just issued an order demanding that the DOJ comply with discovery requests, that they turn over documents related to political prosecutions, that they stop hiding evidence, and start operating transparently. And moments after that order was issued, witnesses saw Bondi removing documents from the courthouse, not her personal belongings, not case files she was legitimately entitled to, documents that were supposed to be produced to the court. Evidence that was subject to the judge's order. Bondi was caught trying to hide or destroy that evidence rather than comply with the court's demand. That's obstruction of justice. That's evidence tampering. Those are serious federal crimes that carry significant prison time. And for an attorney general to be caught doing it, that's beyond shocking. Eyewitness accounts describe a chaotic scene. Bondi looking panicked, moving quickly, trying to leave the courthouse with boxes of documents, court staff noticing and raising alarms, security getting involved, and the judge being notified immediately. The judge's response was swift and forceful, an immediate order for Bondi's arrest. No waiting, no allowing her to turn herself in later. Immediate arrest. That tells you how seriously the judge views this, how clear the evidence of obstruction is, and how concerned the judge is that Bondi will destroy more evidence if given the chance. Video evidence apparently shows Bondi and her staff removing documents. That's not just witness testimony, that's visual proof. Recorded evidence that can't be denied or explained away. The video shows Bondi with boxes. Shows her leaving the courthouse. Shows the timeline that proves she was removing documents right after the court order. That video is going to be devastating in any prosecution of Bondi because it's irrefutable proof of what she did. The judge's rebuke.
Donald Trump may have just ensured that we never see the Epstein files with one Truth Social post.
Yup.
Today, he was crashing out because of the emails that were released from the Epstein estate, insinuating that Donnie Boy is on his knees for more than just praying. But he tweeted at Pam Bondi saying that Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and FBI to reopen the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, looking into the connections of Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions. Pam Bondi, in turn, responded by saying, "Thank you, Mr. President. Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney Jay Clinton is one of the most capable and trusted prosecutors in the country, and she's asked him to lead the case." Now, why this is important, we have to also look at the text messages that Marjorie Taylor Greene had with Donald Trump yesterday that she also released. In particular, that matters here. It says, and the Democrats had 4 years to release the files, but did nothing. Stop ignoring the women. Many of them literally voted for President Trump and said so publicly. Them being raped as teenagers is not a hoax. Now, why this is important, we have to rewind to the year of 2019 when Trump was in office. Epstein was arrested in July 2019. He was also found dead in his cell August 2019 after being deposed and giving a series of damning videos.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Jeffrey Epstein's brother also thinks he was murdered by President Trump.
You got Bondi, you got Pe0ple, you got Barr. All of these people work for Trump, okay? So if they're covering up for somebody, who do you think they might be covering up for? Pretty much conclusion that maybe Trump was behind this.
Wow.
2020, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. 2021, she was found guilty. She wasn't sentenced until 2022, which means that for the first 2 years of Biden's presidency, It was an ongoing investigation, and the files are sealed because they are evidence and cannot release files for one of the most prolific sex rings that presumably includes billionaires, actors, lawyers, doctors, politicians on the right, politicians on the left. If you release these files, these people who are presumably guilty by association would know what's happening. But it wasn't until 2023 a judge unsealed the documents surrounding a civil case that was brought against Jeffrey Epstein, and then public interest really sparked because people were like, oh, okay, well, there is a ring involved here. There's a lot of people involved in these files. Let's get these files out. Starting in 2024, during the campaign, Donald Trump ran his campaign on being the most transparent president, on cutting the fat, cutting the red tape, and he promised that he would ask the U.S. government to look into the Jeffrey Epstein files and release them as soon as day one.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
In February of 2025, we all remember when Pam Bondi said that the Epstein client list was sitting on her desk, and then they did this whole charade where they invited right-wing political commentators and social media influencers holding up pieces of paper that were quote-unquote documents from the Epstein list, and they weren't showing any new information. It was already information that was public knowledge. Later, on July 7th of 2025, the Justice Department magically said that Epstein didn't keep a client list, and they will be making nothing else public. See, while Biden was in office, 75% of his term was an open investigation into the sex trafficking ring that was Jeffrey Epstein, which included presumably Ghislaine Maxwell, President Trump, Bill Clinton, everybody else that was involved with them, and we'll never know to full detail because that list has been hidden and held captive by the Republicans since Donald Trump has taken office. With an investigation reopening by Pam Bondi and the way that she assigned, it was like an hour between the tweet and the announcement that the case is reopening. These files are now a part of that investigation once again and are not privy to public knowledge. So, like I said, MAGA believes Trump. He lies, he lies, he lies. So I don't understand how you guys are seeing this person literally, not figuratively, literally hindering these files from being released because he knows he's guilty.
He doesn't mind if the Jeffrey Epstein files get released. That could mean one of two things, in my opinion. Let's talk about it. So last night, Donald Trump posted this long-ass, rambling-ass post over on Truth Social. Let's go through it. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files. He's already starting off with a lie. Let me take a step back. I don't know what he said on Air Force One on Friday night, but I know that we have been watching him do everything possible to stop the House from voting on the release of the Epstein files. He called Lauren Boebert to the Situation Room like he was calling a teenager to the principal's office to try to strong arm her from not voting to have the Epstein files released. He's been harassing and talking shit about Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene in the hopes of scaring them from not voting for the release of the Epstein files. All this time, he's been saying that this Jeffrey Epstein thing was a hoax. Called it a hoax after he told Pam Bondi to do a full investigation on Bill Clinton and JP Morgan Chase and some Larry guy. Yeah. Called an investigation into a hoax. All Donald Trump is lies, mis and disinformation, hypocrisy, corruption, bully, misogynistic, Islamophobic, racist. That's all Donald Trump is. But back to this post. Let's start from the beginning. As I said on Friday night, aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax. So at the same time, he's calling it a hoax. But yet saying that there's nothing to hide, release the files. Democrat hoax perpetuated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein, are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, but yeah, he's doing a full investigation into what he's calling a hoax and their relationship to Epstein, and the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability. Now, he just learned about affordability, y'all. And he learned about it because Democrats are talking about affordability. He puts in parentheses where we are winning big. I don't have to say it, but I will say it. Republicans are not winning big on affordability. But moving on. Our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history to practically nothing, lies. Bringing down prices for the American people, lies. Delivering historic tax cuts, lies. Well, part truth. The historic tax cuts aren't for the American people. The historic tax cuts is for rich people like him and his billionaire buddies. Moving on, gaining trillions of dollars of investments into America, a record, lies. The rebuilding of our military, lies. Securing our border, deporting criminal, illegal aliens. He's doing all of that, but it ain't going so well. Ending men and women's sports, lies. Stopping transgender for everyone, lies, and so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and yet he campaigned on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. He says nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein, but he campaigned on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive. If the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. That is a lie. The reason why these files weren't released when the Democrats were in office underneath Joe Biden is because Ghislaine Maxwell was still going through the process, her trial, her conviction, her sentencing. And because all of that was happening underneath Joe Biden, they could not release the files. And he knows that. It's just a spin. Moving on. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. He's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie specifically. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record of achievements. There is no record of achievements, and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats. I beg to differ, Donald Trump, because one, you keep talking about the Epstein files because you have no choice. Because everybody else is talking about the Epstein files. He ends with, not us, make America great again. Now for this 360 degrees or 380 degrees, this complete turnaround that Donald Trump is having with the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, one of two things happened in my opinion. One, they have scrubbed the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's number one. Number two, in that statement, he mentions that the House Oversight Committee should be able to get whatever documents that they are legally able to get. I want to remind you that Donald Trump just the other day called for a full investigation into Bill Clinton and that Larry person and these other people in regards to the Jeffrey Epstein case. If there's a full investigation taking place, they will not be able to release those files. Not while there's a full investigation taking place. And he knows that. Now, there's a third option that a lot of people are talking about out there on social media. I'm just not 100% on board with this option. And that option is Donald Trump has accepted defeat. There is nothing he can do to stop the House from voting to have the Epstein files released. But once they vote on that, the reason why I'm not 100% on board is that it then has to go to the Senate. What's going to happen once it gets to the Senate? Yeah, it's a toss-up. Anywho, we've been having fun with that one email exchange that took place between Jeffrey Epstein and his brother Mark, where in that email exchange they mentioned Putin having a photograph of Donald Trump blowing Bubba. This the only Bubba I know in that circle. So I thought it was Bill Clinton. And then yesterday I shared another little clip where this guy was saying that Ghislaine Maxwell's horse was named Bubba. And I was like, what? Say what now? Anywho, it is now being reported that Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, has come out to say that the Bubba in that email exchange is not Bill Clinton. So does that still leave the horse? But I wanted to bring something else. As we're talking about Donald Trump blowing Bubba, I came across this little gem the other day. Remember when Elon Musk and Donald Trump was divorcing and Elon Musk was talking a lot of shit over there on Twitter? Post after post after post, he was dropping these little gems. I don't remember seeing this, but I posted this on Threads and someone kindly reminded me that Elon Musk, a lot of the posts that he made, Elon Musk deleted them. So this had to have gotten deleted before I came across it. But y'all know the internet is forever. Somebody else had it. Okay? And so on June 5th, at 3:10 p.m., Elon Musk tweeted, "You're so proud of the one-liners you wrote. It must be hard to talk shit with a dick in your throat." And then he followed up, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." Is this the truth he talking about? Is this it? Ask him if Putin has the photo of Trump blowing Bubba. Now, at this point, I want to know which one is it. Is it Bubba Mr. Clinton, Bubba the horse, or is there a whole totally different Bubba out there? Baby, inquiring minds want to know.
So let me ask you something. What do you do when a judge orders you to turn over documents and those documents prove you've been abusing your power? If you're Pam Bondi, apparently you remove them, you withhold them, maybe you destroy them, and then you hope nobody notices. But somebody did notice. Court filings are documenting it. Witnesses are testifying about it. And now Bondi, Trump's attorney general, is facing calls for disbarment, criminal charges, and a complete investigation into what looks like systematic evidence tampering at the highest levels of the Justice Department. We're not talking about a minor procedural violation here. We're talking about the nation's top law enforcement official allegedly destroying evidence, obstructing justice, covering up the fact that prosecutions she initiated, prosecutions Trump personally ordered her to pursue, had no legitimate basis, were purely political. We're designed to punish Trump's enemies rather than to pursue actual justice. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust headlines anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporates. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. Scandal centers on several cases, but the James Comey prosecution is at the heart of it. Comey, the former FBI director who Trump fired, who became one of Trump's most prominent critics, was indicted by Bondi's DOJ on charges that legal experts said were weak from the start. Charges that seem more about revenge than about actual crimes. And now court records suggest that Bondi's team withheld or destroyed evidence that could have exonerated Comey. that could have shown the prosecution was baseless, that could have exposed the political nature of the case. Documents has disappeared, communications vanished, files were deleted, and when a judge ordered the DOJ to produce these materials, they couldn't or wouldn't. And that judge, in an unusually strong rebuke, is now raising questions about obstruction, about evidence tampering, about whether the Attorney General of the United States committed crimes to cover up her abuse of power. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. BBC reporting revealed that Trump personally ordered Bondi to initiate these prosecutions, that he directed the Justice Department to go after his political enemies, that he used the DOJ as his personal revenge machine, and Bondi complied, embraced the role, became what the New York Times called Trump's TV messenger, going on cable news to defend these prosecutions, to claim they were legitimate, to attack anyone who questioned them. But behind the scenes, according to former DOJ colleagues who are now testifying, she knew these cases were weak, knew they were political, knew they were about serving Trump's personal agenda rather than pursuing justice, and she did them anyway. And then when courts started demanding evidence, when judges started questioning the prosecutions, when it became clear these cases couldn't survive scrutiny, documents started disappearing. Former DOJ staff are speaking out, legal watchdogs are filing complaints, members of Congress are demanding investigations, and they're all saying the same thing. This goes beyond normal prosecutorial discretion, beyond aggressive legal tactics. This is corruption. This is abuse of power. This is the Attorney General using federal law.
Breaking news, a former Republican insider says Pam Bondi and others in the Trump administration could face criminal charges for the way they've handled the Epstein case. In a piece he wrote on Friday, he notes that Bondi and Trump official Todd Blanche have spent months insisting that there's nothing more to see, no client list, no reason to keep digging. But now we have Epstein himself saying Trump knew about the girls, spent hours with a victim, and was, quote, dirty. You don't have to be a lawyer or a prosecutor to see the legal tripwires they're dancing around. Then he outlined several examples. Number one is, of course, obstruction of justice. If it's shown that DOJ brass deliberately withheld, destroyed, or mischaracterized responsive Epstein records to protect Trump or other allies, specifically in response to congressional demands, subpoenas, or court orders, that's squarely in obstruction territory. He says, I know right now it seems like they get away with everything, but the reality is that they have to be lucky every time, and we only have to be lucky once. A coordinated pattern of misleading Congress and the public about what the files contain. You know, like when they said there was no client list while sitting on emails like the ones released yesterday. That could fit the classic conspiracy to interfere with lawful government functions theory. Another potential charge is contempt of Congress. As the House moves from discharge petitions to binding legislation and subpoenas, any continued slow-walking or stonewalling exposes Bondi and Blanche. Neither of them are Trump's personal attorney, so they can be charged with contempt finding.
This is all I got from this video, and I am just going to ask a few questions and end it here. I remember some month ago, if I am not mistaken, when exactly Pam Bondi actually said that she has the files on her table and they are working to release it, right? And all of a sudden, they do not have that file again. And I am going to ask, what was she doing? What file did she remove that the judges are calling for arrest and all that? Because we need to know. And tomorrow, I want you to know that if you end up seeing this list anywhere without somebody's name, it means it's been tampered. Because for everything they've been working so far, you can actually see that they are working so hard to make sure that that the list is not being released, because everything is Democrat hot. Everything is Democrat hot. And how long will they continue to say this and still not release the file? Because they said that they have the file. So why are they not releasing the file? Now, I am going to say this. I want you all to understand that this administration is very dangerous. Did you see from where Sister Tabitha talked about? You can see where, what's his name? Elon Musk, where he talked about the truth will come out real soon, and that Donald Trump is not in the truth and all that. That very soon, and now we all are seeing it. I know that people that have brains already know the names of the people that are there, but we still need to be sure that what we are thinking correspond with what we have on the paper. Man, it's really, you know why I am very of the opinion that this should be released? Because when anything that got to do with children is something people should never, ever take for granted. And I also, as a human being, will never take that for granted. Why? Because children need to be protected. If you, There was a video of Meghan Kelly that I saw where she was trying to she was very disgusting, trying to defend the administration, and saying that it was 14 years people that they said, not 10, 11 years. You forgot that 14 years is a minor. Did you forget that? Anyways, this is so far all I have. Pam Bondi, if she is guilty, arrest her and put her behind bars. Bye for now.